Hey everybody, I am Ian Dilley, Senior Editor at Flow Bikes.
And I'm Jordan Parker, Content Marketer here at Flow Bikes as well.
And welcome to Ian and Friends Giro d'Italia special. We are going to take a quick look at the Tour of Romandie, which is live on Flow Bikes this week. Last two stages are Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to look at what it all means for the Giro d'Italia. We've got a number of North American riders at this race and some of the favorites for the Giro. Jordan, what have we seen so far?
Let's kick it off. So after the prologue, I guess, stage one, Astana still looking strong. What's going on with them?
These guys have been murdering everyone all year. We just saw them at the Tour of Alps, which was also on Flow Bikes. They put 5 guys in the top 14 overall, and Omar Fraile took the win in stage one at Romandie. It was a small bunch finish. He just dominated everyone coming to the line. Now, Omar is not going to be at the Giro, but Astana's winning ways, I think, are scaring everybody. We all saw what Astana did to the Giro in 2015. They're bringing an all-star lineup this year with Miguel Angel Lopez, Luis Sanchez, Pello Bilbao, and they've got their A-team, and if they are able to bring the same level of intensity and team cohesion as they did in 2015, it's going to be a rough ride for everyone else for 3 weeks.
Really quickly, what was the difference between 2 years ago and why they're looking so strong now? What kind of happened over the last year or so that really...
They've restocked their roster. They've got some quality talent. Pello Bilbao is somebody who's really come onto the scene over the last season or so. And Miguel Angel Lopez, just insane Colombian climber, nicknamed Superman. He was insane last year, winning multiple mountaintop finishes in Grand Tours throughout the year. So I think they've probably taken a couple of years to reload their roster, and guys that need a little bit of time to develop are really hitting their stride.
Yeah, definitely. So what else we have going on? Let's see. We're a week away. Can't wait.
7 days.
We have a few American riders that might be shining bright here at the Giro. Who do we have? Who are we highlighting? Who are we looking at?
Well, in stage 2, we saw Nate Brown, who is tentatively scheduled to race in the Giro. We do not have confirmation from EF Education First, presented by Drapac yet. He's former Austin local, competes here in the Driveway series, and we know him pretty well. We've done some video projects with him in the past, and he came into this race on some incredible form. We saw him in stage 2 get into the break with Thomas de Gendt, Victor Kampenaerts, and those three just floored it. I mean, all 3 huge engines. Nate was only 26 seconds down in the overall.
He was out in no man's land for a long time. We got to, de Gendt really, stuck it through, finished strong for the stage, but Nate Brown just was out there trailing forever.
Yeah, I mean, you were running the social media while we were watching it live, and also managing our sort of internal Flow text thread of, oh, Nate's looking good, he's wearing the yellow jersey, and then they get to the final climb, the last hill. It was maybe as close as 20K out. They had almost 4 minutes at that point, and it was de Gendt. He is probably the best breakaway rider in the world. He seems to be as strong as 4 guys just on his own. Yeah. He just shredded the breakaway. Nate was the last guy to be able to hang onto his wheel and just couldn't make it over the top of the last climb. So rough day for Nate, but I think the takeaway is that, he got in that breakaway. Being only 26 seconds down in the overall and making it into a breakaway like that is a huge effort in and of its own, and speaks to his ability to ride the brakes at the Giro coming up in 1 week.
I don't think we got to see on the broadcast today how he ended up finishing. I don't have it in mind, but do you think he lost a little more time?
I saw that he was already 2 minutes down in GC, so it's tough to say how seriously he took today's uphill time trial. He might be looking for another opportunity to get in a breakaway on Saturday or Sunday and and steal a stage win. So yeah, I don't think he was already out of the overall. So whether or not he gave it his full kick in today's uphill TT.
Maybe a good day for the granny gear, spin out the legs a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a recovery day.
There was a lot of chatter about a good portion of the racers maybe not even making the time cutoff, and talking about whether the officials would go really firmly on the actual rules, the 30% time cutoff. So I don't recall if anybody actually did get the cut. Maybe one or two people might have been on the fringe.
As someone who has personally been time cut in an uphill TT, I can feel their pain. I don't think any racer, especially if you're not a pure climber, the uphill TT is probably not a day you're really looking forward to. Trying to stay within that, what is usually like a 20% of the overall time of someone like Richie Porte or Egan Bernal, who won today from Sky. That's a tough ask if you're a sprinter that's having to do this race. So hopefully the officials went a little bit more lenient in this one.
Yeah, I heard Sky was going to have a happy dinner table, and there might have been a few upset dinner tables for some of the heavier guys not quite making the cutoff.
Yeah, for sure.
So other Americans, we got Joe Dombrowski.
Yeah, I mean, Joe has always performed well at the Giro, so I think we're all looking forward to seeing him race there. He just does well in those high mountains on the steep climbs. And he's having a really consistent Romandie. He's sitting in 24th place overall. He had a good prologue. It looks like he's just been riding relatively conservatively in the road stages, and then he had a solid uphill time trial today, also finishing 24th. So things are looking good for him for the Giro as well. So I think we can expect some exciting things from the North Americans this year. We also saw Michael Woods, who's not at Romandie but will be at the Giro, was second at Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
I'm excited. He's looking fantastic for this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly come into his own, and I think he's probably looking, to take a stage win at the Giro, and he'll have good support from guys like Joe and Nate for sure.
Definitely. EF, really, they're stacked. They're kind of our representatory American team this year, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it gives us a strong contingent of Americans to root for, which is always nice.
And then let's see, what else do we have on the plate today? Rohan Denis, our time trial specialist, formerly undefeated until Tour Romandie. Do you want to talk a little bit about him and maybe his GC contender, being a GC contender for the Giro this year? Is that possible at all? Is that something he might be setting up for future years?
I don't see that being on the plate for this year.
No,
I mean,
maybe
he has,
more
well, he's been pretty open about the fact that he has aspirations to become a GC contender. I think he's probably looking at someone like Tom Dumoulin, who was one of the best time trialists in the world, focused on becoming more of a GC racer, and really had an incredible rise in terms of going from being more of a pure time trialist to being able to hang in the high mountains with the best climbers in the world. Rohan Denis, we've seen him go uphill really, really fast and shred some fields and have incredible days. I don't know if this is his year to go for Giro top 10. I mean, he lost a minute and a half to Egan Bernal in the uphill TT.
Yeah.
If you lose a minute and a half on a mountain stage day after day in the Giro, you're not going to be able to take that back. And what is it, the 45K of time trialing over the course of 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see him try, but I wonder if he is sort of checking his personal aspirations for the Giro and maybe refocusing. He's somebody that is obviously a favorite for the prologue in Israel. So
what would be some of the differences that you're seeing between what Rohan Denis might be able to eventually become a GC contender, how Tom Dumoulin, and also, so let's look at Chris Froome as well. So also, amazing time trialist, track racer, beautiful engine, just strong engine, and then the ability to really chisel down to become a GC contender. What stops somebody like Tony Martin? unquestionably one of the best time trial motors that has ever existed.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at guys like Tony Martin, Jos Van Edam, these are guys with a lot of muscle mass, and that's what helps.
Boys.
That's what helps them go fast. They can produce a ton of power on the flats, and when you start talking about becoming a GC contender, you are playing with that razor's edge of how much weight can I lose and how much power can I maintain. So, Bradley Wiggins is a good example of somebody who went from being an Olympic champion on the track to losing almost 20 pounds, I think, and winning the Tour de France. Almost winning the Vuelta a España, becoming one of the better climbers in the world. So whether Rohan will be able to do that, how much weight he can lose, how much weight he wants to lose, and whether that will benefit him. Yeah, it's tough, and I get these guys' desire to want to become Grand Tour riders. I mean, winning the Tour de France is obviously the pinnacle of the sport, but I don't know. Maybe we've seen a lot of guys experiment with trying to do that and fail horribly, and in some cases kind of ruin their careers. They never turned into the specialist they might have been. So tough decisions for those guys to make.
Yeah, definitely. So we still have 2 more stages left toward Romandie. Tomorrow, Sunday, wrap up, and then we have a week ahead to the Giro. So
yeah, Friday, May 4th, live on Flow Bikes. Tune in, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing everybody there. We'll have more of these shows as the Giro rolls out, and I want to mention our coffee mugs. Feel free to send these to us, have them appear live on the Ian and Friends show. We are at 979 Springdale Road, Suite 120 in Austin, Texas, and we'll put the address in the show notes. Have your mug appear on Ian and Friends. See y'all later.
Cheers.